I'm going to solve 2020 and 2023 January exam section A. So 2020 question 1A. This is based on the question 4 of topic 2.1 practice question. As a trader for the AMBS hedge fund, you see the following price. So we have dollar, bid rate, and ask rate. And spot exchange rate, bid and ask, forward exchange rate, bid and ask, these are given. The first question asks, the covered interest rate parity hold with this transaction cost. Derive the range of the pound deposit and loan interest rate which are consistent with the CIP condition. So what is the CIP condition we can use with this bid and ask price? If you take a look at covered interest rate parity formula with transaction cost, page 40 of topic 2.1 CIP slide, you will find these two. So here D is the currency D, F is the currency F. We have two inequality. Basically the first inequality says if you borrow currency D, this is the one you have to pay back after 1 year. The right hand side, once you borrow currency D, you can convert currency D into currency F. You can put that currency F in currency F money market. After 1 period, you're going to convert that back into currency D. So this is what you're going to get after 1 year by implementing this arbitrage strategy. What you have here is the one you have to pay back. So this inequality means when you borrow currency D, if you need to pay more than what you're going to get after 1 year, then you're not going to implement arbitrage strategy. There's no CIP violations. That's the condition I, the first one. The second condition is now you're borrowing currency F. So this is what you have to pay back after 1 year. On your right hand side, this is what you're gonna get after 1 year investment implementing arbitrage strategy. Here, once you borrow currency F, you're gonna convert currency F in currency D and put that currency D in currency D money market. So this is what you're gonna get after 1 year, and you're gonna convert that back into currency F. So eventually, what you have here is the left-hand side is the what you have to pay back after 1 year. The right-hand side is the what you're gonna get after 1 year. So this one means if you have to pay back more than what you earn after 1 year, then you're not gonna implement CIP arbitrage strategy. So this is the second CIP formula with transaction cost. So once you get these kind of questions, and if we are talking about CIP, you have to think about these two inequality, CIP formula with transaction cost. Is this okay? Now you have to apply this formula for these questions. Now, if you look at these questions, the pound is always in the denominator. So F is in the denominator in this formula. So obviously, you can instead of F, you can use pound. Instead of D, you can use dollar. So given these two inequality, we can use instead of F, pound, instead of D, dollar. So we have two CIP formula here. Given these two CIP formula, now you can plug in all the number available in these questions. Now, what is the question we are trying to solve here? So we need to know the range of the pound deposit rate and pound loan interest rate, which are consistent with the CIP conditions. But that means we want to find the range of the pound bid rate given this inequality. We want to find the pound ask rate, the range of pound ask rate given this inequality. So once I plug in all the number, the dollar per pound, the USD, the GBP USD bid rate, which is what is the forward rate is the bid rate is this one, 1.25. Yeah, 1.25 for this one. Pound bid rate is not given, so we want to get the range of this one. And dollar per pound escalate 1.1642. So if you plug in all this number, and if we rearrange this one in terms of pound bid rate, so what you can do is we're gonna put pound bid rate on the right hand side. Everything else should go to the left hand side. So so we can directly transform this inequality into this form. Then we're gonna plug in all the number. Bid rate is 1.25. Ask rate is the 1.1642. Dollar ask rate is 3.625%. This one. So once you compute all this number, you get 0.9651. That should be bigger than 1 plus pound bid rate. So this is the first CIP formula with transaction cost. Now, likewise, in this case, now we have pound ask rate in the left-hand side, so we don't have to transform this inequality. We can just plug in the number. So bid rate is the 1.1602. Dollar bid rate is 3.5%. Forward rate, the ask rate is the 1.2650. So once you plug in all this number, you get 0.9493. So 1 plus pound ask rate is greater than or equal to 0.9693. These two are CIP conditions. And we just got the range of the pound bid rate and the pound ask rate. Do you have any questions? So given these questions, we have to use two CIP formula with transaction cost. Since F is in the denominator, so pound should be replaced with the F and dollar should be replaced with the D. So we can use these two formula where F is pound, dollar is D. Once we get this one, we can just plug in all the number and we can get the range of the pound bid rate and pound ask rate. So that's the first questions. So if you have any questions, you can stop me. Now the second one, the 2020 question 1B, this is based on the question 1 and question 4 of topic 2.1 practice questions. So you can see that I'm combining two practice questions to come up with this one. Now B, the following pound deposit and loan interest rate is offered to you from a different bank in the external currency market. So pound deposit rate is 1%, pound ask rate is 1.125%. Now in the previous questions, when the CIP hold, we should have this range for bid rate, we should have this range for ask rate. Now we need to compare this bid rate and this ask rate, whether these satisfy the CIP condition we just computed. So from A, if this is a true, CIP hold. From A, the previous one, if this is true, then CIP hold. Now, given 1%, so if you plug in 1% here, obviously this inequality doesn't hold. So we have the opposite inequality. So CIP violations. So we can use arbitrage strategy to exploit these violations. For the second one, if you plug in the ask rate here, it's a 1.01125, which is greater than 0.9493, so CIP hold. So there is no way to exploit these CIP conditions. So we can derive the CIP arbitrage strategy only using this first inequality. Now, how should we exploit these CIP violations? If you remember the page 23, 22, and 23 of topic 2.1 CIP slide, there I explain when you see this inequality, by the way, when CIP violate here, that means this condition violate, that means we have the opposite inequality, right? So we have this case. If you go back to the page 22 and 23 of topic 2.1 CIP slide, you will find how to exploit these violations. So what you have here, this is the one, so you're gonna borrow dollar today. This is the one you have to pay back after 1 year. What you have on the right hand side, once you borrow dollar, you're gonna convert dollar into pound and put that pound into pound money market. After 1 year, you're gonna convert pound back into dollar, right? So the right hand side is the dollar amount you're gonna get after 1 year. So if right hand side is bigger than left hand side, that means by implementing this strategy, after 1 year, this one, the right hand side minus left hand side will be an arbitrage profit you're gonna make. This is what you're gonna get, and this is what you have to pay, right? So we have to write down this strategy here. So basically, I just told you. So we're gonna borrow $1 at using 1 year bid rate, the ask rate, ask rate. So you're gonna borrow from the bank. This should be ask rate, 3.625%, and then you're gonna convert $1 to pound in the spot market. What is the price you're gonna use? You are investor. You are selling dollar. In terms of dealer, dealer is buying dollar. So which price this dealer is going to use? Dealer is buying dollar at the bid price of USD GBP. So this is the one you need to memorize. Dealer is buying the currency in the denominator, USD, at the bid price. Investor is selling dollar. Dealer is buying dollar at the bid price of USD GBP. Now, one problem is the bid price of USD GBP is not given. We only have bid and ask price of GBP USD. So how do we get the bid price of USD GBP? Well, it's a reciprocal of the ask price of GBP USD. It's 1 divided by ask price of the GBP USD. You need to know that relationship from topic 1, right? So the bid price of USD GBP is this one. And then once you get the pound amount, you're going to put the pound amount at the pound deposit rate. So you're going to deposit your money to the bank. So bid rate will be used for that. So 1%, 1%. And after 1 year, now you're going to get pound. You need to convert pound back into dollar. So that means you need to sell pound plus the pound at the end. So which price? You're going to sell the pound, which means the dealer is buying pound. So dealer is going to buy the currency in the denominator at the bid price. Investor is selling. Dealer is buying. The price is going to be bid price of the GBP USD. So what is the bid price of GBP USD? It's given $1.25 per pound. So this is the strategy you're going to implement. And once you implement this one, the difference based on this one, the right-hand side minus left-hand side, what you're going to get minus what you have to pay back is going to be your arbitrage profit. That is in the next slide. So once we plug in all the numbers for these three, you're going to get 1.084436. This is the one you're going to get after implementing this strategy after 1 year. And this is what you're going to pay after 1 year. Now remember, we implement this strategy by borrowing $1. So your profit, the difference is going to be per every $1 borrowing. If you borrow $10,000, then you have to multiply this by $10,000. So the profit from this strategy is the difference, what you're going to get minus what you have to pay back per every $1 borrowing. Now, explain clearly how covered arbitrage can be undertaken. We just explained that. Then now we have to think about how the no arbitrage equilibrium can be recovered, how CIP violation will be removed. We need to think about that. Now, once you identify these CIP violations, you're gonna implement arbitrage strategy. Not just you. Everyone is trying to exploit these violations. They're gonna implement same strategy. What is the same strategy? Everyone is trying to borrow dollar today. So borrowing dollar means the dollar ask rate will go up. Everyone is trying to borrow. Then bank will charge you higher interest rate. So the dollar ask rate will go up. And then once you get borrow $1, everyone is trying to convert the sell dollar to get the pound at the uh, spot market. So everyone is trying to get pound in the spot market. That means more demand for pound. So the pound price should go up, right? The pound price in the spot market should go up. You can think about that in this way. So once you get pound, and not just you, everyone is trying to implement this arbitrage strategy. So everyone is trying to deposit pound into the bank. Then bank doesn't have to give you a higher interest rate. They're gonna give you only a lower interest rate because everyone is trying to deposit. They don't have any incentive to give you high deposit rate. So pound bid rate will go down. Then finally, after 1 year, everyone is trying to sell pound and get dollar. So more demand for dollar in the forward market. That means the dollar per pound will go down. So the demand for dollar increase means dollar appreciate and pound depreciate in the forward market. So this one should go down. So because of this, by implementing arbitrage strategy, because of this, each step, eventually this one will go up and right hand side will go down. Just compare this thing here. If borrowing interest rate go up, this one goes up. If dollar per pound ask rate go up, this one will go down because this is in the denominator. Pound bid rate going down, so this one will go down. Dollar per pound bid rate go down, so this one will go down. So this, by implementing this strategy, left hand side going up, right hand side going up until you get the equality again. So this is how we explain the equilibrium is restored in this example. So that's the first question based on topic 2.1. Now 2020 question 2 is based on topic 2.2 and topic 2.3. So here Kim deal a portfolio. By the way, if you have any questions, just stop me and ask your questions using chatting window, or you can just speak to me directly. Kim Dale, portfolio manager for the AMBS hedge fund, observed the following price. So pound interest rate, dollar interest rate. So it's a 12% per pound, 5% per dollar. So in terms of interest rate ranking, the pound is the high interest rate currency, dollar is the low interest rate currency, and spot exchange rate is given, 1 year forward exchange rate is given. Now suppose this assumption is true. Both deposit are default free, deposit interest rate are same as the loan interest rate, bid-ask spread are zero. So there is no transaction cost and there are no default risk. Well, I need to add one more thing. Actually, there should be no default counterparty default risk for forward contract too. Anyway, given this one, we can say that CIP hold. So CIP hold it with this example. And AMBS research team has a good forecasting model for the spot exchange rate at time t plus 1. So you are at time t and you have forecast for the future at t plus 1. This is the future forecast. Given these informations, first thing we need to solve is this. Describe two alternative ways to implement the carry trade strategy. So how do we implement the carry trade strategy? First strategy, you're gonna borrow a currency with lower interest rate. So you're gonna borrow dollar and convert dollar in the pound and put that pound into pound money market. What is the carry trade strategy? So previously we used the forward contract to remove the FX risk in the future, but when you implement carry trade, you're not gonna remove FX risk. You're gonna just take the risk and your eventual profit will be depending upon the future exchange rate. Now, given this expected exchange rate, you can compute expected profit today. The realized profit will be, you will be able to compute that after one period once you get the future exchange rate. Now, what is our question? We are trying to compute the expected profit at time t today. So today you're trying to implement carry trade strategy and you have forecast about the future exchange rate. Given that future the expectations, you can compute expected profit, not the realized profit. Now, the what is the first way? So that's the borrowing dollar, converting, investing into pound. Once you do that, the expected profit or excess return from dollar carry trade strategy will be looking like this. This is the page 28 of topic 2.2 UIP slide. So what you have here is the when you borrow dollar, this is the one you have to pay back after 1 year. What you have here is once you borrow you convert dollar into pound, that's this part. You put that pound into pound money market. After 1 year, you're gonna get this one. Now, after 1 year, you have to convert pound back into dollar. Now, we don't remove FX risk. You only have the expected value of the future exchange rate. So this whole thing is going to be expected dollar profit by implementing this carry trade strategy. And this is the one you have to pay back to. So this is the financing cost you're gonna pay. To implement carry trade, you have to borrow dollar. This is the one you have to pay back. This is what you expect to earn after 1 year. Now, once we have these expressions, you can just plug in all this number here. So spot exchange rate is $1.6 per pound. Pound interest rate is 12%. Expected spot exchange rate, future spot exchange rate is $1.7 per pound. And dollar interest rate is 5% is given. So by computing this number, you get this $0.14 per every $1 borrowing. So remember here we are implementing dollar carry trade by borrowing $1. So this is the profit per every $1 borrowing. An alternative dollar carry trade strategy is buying high interest rate currency forward. So you're not gonna borrow or anything today. You're gonna just buy high interest rate currency forward, which is the pound forward. So we're gonna think about the buying £1 forward just for normalizations. So what is the expected profit from buying £1 forward contract? This is based on the page 38 of the topic 2.2 UIP slide. For every £1 buying £1 forward contract, this is the profit you're gonna get, expected profit. So if it's a given for the price 1.5 dollar per pound, and this is the $1.7 per pound. How do you make money here? Since you buy £1 forward, that means you're gonna give $1.5 to seller of this forward contract after one period. So you give $1.5 and get £1. As a buyer of this forward contract, you're gonna pay for the price and get £1. Once you get £1, you're gonna sell that £1 in future spot market. What is the price you're gonna get? This should be pound. Should be 1.7. So you pay $1.5 to get £1. Right away you sell £1 and expect to get $1.7. So the difference is going to be your expected dollar profit for buying £1 forward contract. 1.7 minus 1.5, 0.2, that's the dollar profit per every £1 forward contract. So these are two different alternative way of implementing dollar carry trade strategy. So here we need to show why two ways of implementation are essentially equivalent. If you take a look at page 41 of topic 2.2 UIP slide, we derive this relationship. So we show this is the expected excess return from implementing carry trade using borrowing and lending. That is equal to some number times expected profit from implementing carry trade using the second methodology. So this is the expected excess return by implementing carry trade with the first strategy. So this one, this is the expected profit from implementing dollar carry trade using this strategy, buying high interest rate currency forward. So these two, and we have some number here. What is this number? Pound interest rate is given 12%. What is spot exchange rate? It's a $1.6 per pound. So if you compute this number and plug in, we already know $0.14. This one, we already know this one is the $0.2 per pound, 1 pound forward contract. And once you plug in this number here, you will be able to prove the left hand side is equal to right hand side. So in this sense, these two are essentially equivalent. Either this one or this one, you get the same profit. Do you have any questions? So we did talk about this one in the lectures. First way, borrowing low interest rate currency, lending into high interest rate currency, or buying high interest rate currency forward. There's a way to prove these two are equivalent. Both are dollar trade, carry trade strategy. This is the one we used. Now, the next question, Kim Dill claimed that argued that the positive expected profit from the carry trade are not a risk premium. Is this true, false, or uncertain? Explain your reasoning using the CAPM. So this is topic 2.3. Page 15 to 19 of topic 2.3, we talk about the CAPM, using CAPM to justify the positive profit from carry trade. So we are still talking about question 2. So our expected profit from carry trade looks like this. And we are trying to use CAPM. So when we can interpret first of all this one as the excess return. We talk about this one in the lectures because this is the risk-free rate. So we can treat this one as RF. And what is this? This is the expected return from borrowing dollar and converting investing into pound. So in that sense, this is the expectation of RI. So RI is the carry trade. So we can interpret this whole thing as the excess return. So what is CAPM? Left-hand side, we should have excess return. And right-hand side, we have the beta of that strategy. We're going to call that as the beta of dollar carry and market excess return. So from the history, we know that we expect to earn positive profit from implementing carry trade. So we have plus in the left-hand side. Can we justify this plus profit from implementing dollar carry trade using CAPM? That's the question we are asking here. So first of all, this one should be positive. This is the ex ante, the excess return, which means even before investing into stock market, you expect to earn more than risk-free rate by investing into stock market. If this is negative, that doesn't make sense because you don't earn more than risk-free rate, then why you are taking risk by investing in stock market? At least this one should be positive. The realized profit can be negative, plus, or zero, anything, but expected profit before investing into stock market should be always positive. Therefore, how can we justify the positive profit here? We can justify that only if this beta is positive. So what is the meaning of positive beta? Given positive market excess return, if you earn positive profit from implementing dollar carry trade, indicate beta of dollar carry is positive. That means the positive covariance between excess return from implementing this strategy and market return. What is the meaning of that? Positive covariance means when the market goes down during the bad time, the return from implementing carry trade will be lower, will be negative. So you hate to experience the downturn. if your asset give you lower return during the bad time, you don't feel very well. So you feel investing into that asset is really risky. So before investing into that asset, you're gonna ask some premium. That's how we use CAPM to understand the positive profit of the implementing carry trade using positive beta. Okay, so if you think a little bit more about that, so there's a positive covariance between these two. When market goes down, this one goes down. So just take a look at this one. When this EXL will go down, if this one goes down, future expected exchange rate going down, everything will go down. So what is the meaning of the going down of this term? The going down means pound is going to depreciate. So in summary, if when the market goes down, if pound depreciate, then the implementing carry trade will be risky because the return from that strategy will be going down too. That is the meaning of positive beta. Because of positive beta, investor will ask premium before investing into that asset, and over the time, your expectation will be indeed realized on average. So from the historical data, you should find positive profit from implementing carry trade. That's how we interpret this whole thing. So if you stop here and then Kim Deal argues that positive expected profit from the carry trade are not risk premium. But there is a way to say that this profit is the indeed risk premium using CAPM. So this could be first if you stop here. However, we all also learned about the following things. If you actually test CAPM using this carry trade, you will find out beta of carry is indeed equal to 0. That means CAPM is not a good model. If CAPM is good model, we should be able to explain positive profit from implementing carry trade using these equations. In order to explain the positive profit, beta should be positive. But if you actually estimate beta using the data, beta is close to 0. So something is wrong with the CAPM. So I explained this one at the end of the topic 2.3, right? So the final answer should be, the better answer should be uncertain. So CAPM is able to explain the positive profit in theory, but in empirics, if you actually test that using the data, it doesn't look like that. So I gave the full mark if student provide this answer, no matter what they say is true, false, or uncertain. The explanation is correct, and I gave the full mark. Anyway, and then 2020 question 3. Explain clearly the rationale underlying the real interest rate parity conditions. Namely that satisfaction of the real interest rate parity requires equalization of the real interest rate across country. So at that time, that this was the closed book exam, the face-to-face exam. So students need to provide all the derivations about the real interest rate parity. Now this year, you don't have to worry about that because there will be no derivation questions. There will be only MCQ question, numerical or descriptive on topic 1 to 3, right? So you don't have to know how to derive this one. However, what you need to know is when RIP hold. When the RIP hold. The three conditions. First, CIP should hold. Number 2, UIP should hold. Number 3, ex ante PPP or relative PPP should hold. If CIP hold, UIP hold, ex ante RPPP hold, then real interest rate parity hold. You need to memorize that. On top of that, given RIP, real interest rate are same across different country. Given that thing, we can say that Fisher hypothesis hold. What is the Fisher hypothesis? Nominal interest rate will be a function of the expected inflations. So when expected inflation goes up by 1%, you expect to see 1% increase in nominal interest rate. That thing, right? So we talk about the RIP conditions and when RIP conditions should hold and what is the implication of RIP. Just take a look at the last 3 or 4 pages of the topic 3.2 slide. The last 3 pages, you need to know all the key point there, how to get the each number there. There could be some question based on that big diagram at the end of topic 3.2 based on RIP. Anyway, so that was the 2020 section A of 2020 exam questions. Now we can think about the section A of the 2023 exam questions. The first question is this based on the question 5 of the Baker-Hardwick chapter 2. So first practice questions. So euro deposit bid and ask rate are given. Dollar bid and ask rate are given. Now this one is similar to the 2020 exam question, right? So question 1 of 2020 and question 1 of 2023 are very similar. Both have interest rate, spot exchange rate, forward rate with bid and ask. So essentially it's almost same question except for this important part here. So we have EUR JPY, USD JPY, bid and ask rate. Previously, well, it would be easier if we have USD something EUR, USD something EUR in the question. Then this question will be almost same as the 2020 question 1. But instead of that, we have these two. So I'm trying to ask you whether you are able to compute this one based on these two. For that, we need to use this cross rate formula we learned in topic 1. So USD EUR is equal to USD JPY times JPY EUR. In topic 1, I explained this one intuitively. Always the first letter is in the denominator. So instead of writing down USD JPY, I can intuitively write down like this. Instead of JPY EUR, I can intuitively write down like this. So JPY will be cancelled, and this will be EUR over USD, which is this one, right? This is cross rate formula. Now, once you solve question 5 of Baker-Hardwick chapter 2 in practice question 1, you will get these two formula. So cross rate formula says USD UR is equal to USD JPY, JPY UR. What is the bid rate of this one? What is the ask rate of this one? You just need to multiply bid rate of this one times bid rate of this one. What is the ask rate of this one? You just need to multiply ask rate of this one and ask rate of this one. Why? Well, you can go back to the practice question 1 there. I explain, well, Samia explained, I think, why we are able to compute bid price in this way. Well, actually for exam preparation, you can just write down this one as a formula and you can just use it. Anyway, so here, what is the bid price of USD JPY? USD JPY is this one, so 104.30. And we need to know the bid price of JPY EUR. Unfortunately, you don't have bid price of JPY EUR here. However, you have the reciprocal. So bid price of JPY EUR is the reciprocal 1 divided by ask price of the EUR JPY. So you already learned this one in topic 1. So instead of this one, you can write down the 1 divided by ask rate of this. So by multiplying these two, you can get this number. So that's the question A. Can you compute the bid and ask rate of the EUR per USD? And question A, still the ask price is ask price times ask price. Ask price of USD JPY is given 104.40. So what is the ask price of JPY EUR? It's not given. However, we know the bid price of EUR JPY. So the reciprocal of this one. So we can compute 0.8620. So make sure you know everything you use to solve all practice questions. This kind of thing could be asked. So once you compute the bid-ask rate of the UR per USD, so USD UR, then you are able to compute also this one, right? EUR USD. This is EUR USD. If you compute bid and ask of USD UR, you could compute bid and ask of the EUR USD by using reciprocal. So reciprocal of this one should be ask price of EUR USD. Reciprocal of this one should be bid price of EUR USD. So you can compute bid price and ask price of EUR USD as a reciprocal of these two. Reciprocal of these two. You can get this one, these two number. So spot exchange rate is given like this, EUR USD. Now once you have this one is basically same as 2020 question 1B. We have bid and ask for EUR, bid and ask for dollar, bid ask for EUR USD, bid ask for the EUR USD in spot and forward. Now, I was very lazy at the time, so I just changed pound into euro, and I just changed one number from here to give 2023 exam questions. So instead of pound, we have now euro. Dollar interest rate are exactly same. Well, next page is better. No, this is better. Instead of replacing pound with euro, this number is also same as the previous 2020 question one. And this one is also same, right? The 2020, we have 1% here, 1.125% here, except for that, now we have different number here, except now we have euro instead of pound. These questions are exactly same as the previous exam questions. Then we still need to think about two CIP formula. I guess I don't have to repeat this one. So what you have here is what you need to pay back after 1 year. What you have here is what you're gonna get after 1 year. You're gonna borrow the convert the right. So given given EUR USD, it's natural to replace F with euro and D with dollar, given EUR USD. So for the dollar ask rate here, we can get the range of the euro bid rate. That was the previous question. Sorry. So now here we just need to compute whether CIP condition is true or not. So once you plug in this number 3.03625, and if you plug in all this number, you find this is 1.09. So this number is bigger than this one. So inequality doesn't hold. So there is a CIP violation. So we should be implement arbitrage strategy based on this one. This is exactly same as the 2020 question one. For second one, if we plug in all the number, we still have this inequality means this inequality hold. That means CIP doesn't. There's no CIP violations, so CIP hold. So we need to implement arbitrage strategy only based on the first conditions. So given this inequality, just like before, we have to borrow dollar, convert dollar into euro, put euro into euro money market. After one period, you're gonna convert euro back into dollar. That's gonna be your strategy. So I almost copy this one from the solution from the previous questions, right? It's just exactly same. Just uh, instead of euro, previously you had pound instead of 2% here. Previously you had 1%. Except for that, everything is exactly same. So I'm not gonna repeat that. As you can see, I ask this question almost every year. So this year you should expect to see another one, similar one. Okay, and the 2023 question 3. Uh, so here, 2023 question 2, I already put this one as a practice questions. This is question 2 and question 3 of topic 2.2 practice questions. You can find the recording on solution on this one on Canvas. And so I'm not going to repeat that here. So finally, 2023 question 3. This is almost same as the question 5 of topic 3.1 practice questions. Now you may wonder, did I give the same practice questions in 2020 and in 2023? Yes, I gave the same practice question except for, I guess, this one. So what you can see here is my exam question will be based on the practice questions. And sometimes I combine two practice questions to get the one exam questions. Sometimes I slightly change the number in the practice questions, or something like I combine one practice questions to get this one spot rate, and then combine that with the CIP questions to ask the CIP thing, right? So you expect this kind of combination. Other than that, almost the 70% or 80% of the exam question will be based on the practice questions. So if you are able to solve all practice questions, and if you know everything key point in the review slide, you should be fine, I think. So last year average was like 40 out of 50 in the MCQ part. So you will have no surprise in MCQ section. Anyway, so what is the 2023 question 3? Here, suppose we are in the first quarter of 2020. The price level in US is $30,000 and the price level in UK is £20,000. What is the meaning of price level? Price level is the price of a typical consumption bundle in US. So to buy that consumption bundle, you have to pay this one in US. To buy the same consumption bundle in UK, you have to pay this one. And the spot exchange rate is given like this, $1.4 per pound. Based on the absolute purchasing power parity theory, is the US dollar over or undervalued? In order to answer these questions, first, you have to get the PPP implied exchange rate, and you need to compare that with the actual exchange rate. So first of all, you need to compute the PPP implied exchange rate. How do we get the PPP implied exchange rate of the GBP USD? Always the price level of the currency, the first three letters to be in the denominator. The price level of pound is in the denominator. Price level of dollar is in the numerator. So what is the meaning of this? To get one consumption bundle, you're gonna pay $30,000 in US and you're gonna pay 20,000 pound in UK. So what should be the right exchange ratio between dollar and pound? Obviously this one. To get the same consumption bundle, you need this in US, you need this in UK. So you should be able to exchange these two, right? Because of the fair value. So once we divide these two, we'll get USD $1.5 per pound. Now you need to compare this one with the actual exchange rate. So actual exchange rate is 1.4, PPP implied exchange rate is 1.5. So in terms of pound, if you think PPP is a good model, this is the right number. So on FX market, this number is less than the right number, which means for 1 pound on the FX market, you pay too small amount of dollar. Pound is undervalued. When the pound is undervalued, so you just pay $1.4 to get 1 pound. Right number should be $1.5. So the pound is undervalued. In terms of dollar, dollar is overvalued. Okay, so that's the answer for the first questions. Second questions, once you have these PPP violations, is there any way to exploit that? So we talk about this one, the absolute purchasing power parity is the low one price. So for the same consumption bundle, we pay this one in US, this one in UK. So this is the low one price. When the low of one price doesn't satisfy, we can think about arbitrage. In this case, goods market arbitrage. So consider your answer in question A. Create an arbitrage strategy in the goods market using 1 million pound. So how can we implement arbitrage strategy? You need to first compute how many consumption bundle you can buy using this one in UK and using this one in US. So in UK, using 1 million pound, you can get 50 bundle. For every bundle, you have to pay 20,000 pound. So if you have 1 million pound, obviously you can get 50 bundle. Each bundle costs 20,000 pound. With 1 million pound, you can get 50 bundle. We call that as internal purchasing power. Or you could use 1 million pound in US to buy the same consumption bundle. In order to do that, you have to first convert 1 million pound into dollar using actual exchange rate. So you're gonna get $1.4 million. Once you get $1.4 million, you can buy consumption bundle in US. For each US consumption bundle, you have to spend $30,000. So using $1.4 million, you can get 46.67 bundle only. So you can buy more bundle in UK, more than the bundle you can buy in US. So consumption bundle is cheaper in UK. You can buy more consumption bundle. That means consumption bundle is cheaper. So always when you implement arbitrage strategy, you should buy low and sell high. You should buy the consumption bundle from the place where consumption bundle is cheaper. So you buy from UK. So you buy 50 consumption bundle in UK with 1 million pound, and then you're gonna export that 50 consumption bundle to US and sell 50 bundle in US. What is the price you're gonna get? 50 bundle times $30,000 per each bundle. So you're gonna get $1.5 million. Now, given this exchange rate, we can convert this dollar back into pound, which is 1.071129 pound. So you start with the 1 million pound, you end up with this number. So we can compute the return. So 1 million, 1.071429 minus 1 million. This is minus 1 million. This is your return. So your return is going to be 7.143%. So here we are ignoring transaction cost, we are ignoring tariff, all kinds of complexity. But so this is just textbook arbitrage. But in the class, I explained that you don't have to implement this arbitrage strategy. If you think PPP is a good model, then you can think about implementing currency value strategy, which means you're going to buy the undervalued currency and you're going to sell the overvalued currency. You don't have to actually do this goods market arbitrage thing. Anyway, so that's the question 2. Finally, question 3. Let's suppose we are now in the first quarter of 2021. So 1 year has passed, and U.S. inflation rate is 5%, UK inflation is 7%. Also, the new exchange rate after 1 year is this one. So old exchange rate today is 1.4. After 1 year, 1.3. What do you expect to happen to the pound sterling? Pound. So we're trying to compute appreciation or depreciation of pound. Here, well, actually, in real sense, I need to add this one maybe. We need to compute real appreciation or depreciation of pound. So in the class, we talk about decomposing changes in real exchange rate. So this is the real exchange rate at t plus 1 t over f minus today's real exchange rate divided by today's real exchange rate. This is the appreciation or depreciation of the currency in the denominator f for 1 year. We can decompose this change into 3 things. Changes in nominal exchange rate, changes in price level in f, currency in the denominator, the price level changes in the currency in the denominator d. So which one should be f and which one should be d? Given this one, naturally we can replace f with pound and d with dollar. So By applying this formula, so this is page 46 of topic 3.1, we can decompose changes in real exchange rate into three different components, right? So instead of D, we put dollar. Instead of F, we put pound. So instead of D, dollar, F, pound, pound, D, dollar, right? Now we can just plug in all the number. ST plus $1 per pound is this one, 1.3. ST dollar per pound is this one, 1.4. Pound inflation rate is 7%. So this is the 1 plus pi of F, right? So 1.07. This is the 1 plus pi of dollar inflation rate, so 1.05. So we get minus 0.05374. So what is the meaning of minus here? Meaning of minus is the currency in the denominator, pound, is depreciating. So the pound has a real depreciation of 5.374% over the 1 year. Okay, so this is the answer for question 3.